Hey guys, welcome back to the Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. In this part, we're going to be getting the Tempered Sword. Like I mentioned in the last part, we're going to go down here and rescue the swordsmith's brother. And he was the little frog guy that was down below the village. So we're going to go grab him real quick, and then we will get our sword tempered. It's just that simple. Alright. Come on, frog boy, let's go. Alright, so he's going to follow us around. And we're just going to take him right up here. And we'll go ahead and go back to the light world. Alright, and you can see he turned back into a little swordsmith guy. Alright, there you go. So he says come back and they will temper our sword, so we'll leave and come back. And temper my sword. Alright. So they actually take your sword from you, so you can't do anything, which is a little odd. But before I leave, I wanted to show something off. If you actually get your hammer out and start banging on this with them, they'll actually get upset with you. You guys have to go to the top, maybe. Yeah. Yep, see? Hey, amateurs shouldn't try to do this. You're just getting in the way. That was a pretty nice detail there. So, I think you have to leave and come back in and they'll have the sword ready. Or you may have to go to a different screen. So, they say come back later. So, I guess in the meantime, we will go back to the Dark World, and there's a piece of heart we're going to grab this right here. And this is actually one of the ones that I was trying to get in an earlier episode, or part, I mean. But basically, all I have to do is pound these spikes in, so it's a good time waster, I guess. And ta-da! The stump suddenly turns into a staircase. Who would have thunk it? And now we have his heart. And I guess that's... I don't know what the trigger is for getting your sword back. I don't know if you have to wander a certain amount of screens away or you have to wait a certain amount of time. But they should hopefully be done with it by now. There we go. So now we have the Tempered Master Sword. Or as it's known in the menu, the level 3 sword. Alright, the next thing we're going to head out and do is get some of the medallions. So there's actually 3 medallions in the game. We have 2 of them. We're going to go ahead and collect the other 2. So I actually forgot to grab this. There's a chest up here in the smith house in the Dark World, and basically what it says is the key's locked inside the chest, so you can't do anything with it, so you have to take it with you. And we're actually going to bring this with us to where we're going because it's in the same general area as the first medallion we're going to get, and I don't know why I couldn't remember the word medallion. I was wanting to call it pendant for some reason. Okay, so over here at the desert entrance, we're actually going to swap back over to the light world. And in an earlier episode, I mentioned this guy here. He's a ex-thief. And basically, if you talk to him, he will open the chest for you if you keep it a secret. And inside is the 4th and final bottle. So that is all the bottles in the game. We're going to go back to the Dark World real quick because the medallion is a little further on down to the desert area. If you don't know where I'm at, here's the map. It's just right outside where it used to be the desert. Alright, inside this little area with the pegs, we're going to switch back over to the Dark World because that's going to put us into a previously inaccessible area up here on top of this little mountain. And up here, we will get the next medallion. So we got to get out the Book of Medora. And there we go. That bird just got wrecked. Alright, there we go. That is Bombos. That is my second favorite medallion. My favorite medallion is the next one we're going to get. I won't spoil it because, you know, who wants spoilers on this, what, 20-something-year-old game? Okay, so I've made my way over to where the witch's hut is in the light world, but over here it's just a little shop. There's nothing special about it. You can just buy some bombs and magic medicine and a shield for kind of unreasonable prices, but that's not what we're doing. We're actually going to be heading back behind here towards where the Waterfall of Wishing was and Zora's River or whatever it is. Back this way, because that's where the next medallion is. The garbage bag, go away. Okay. So there's a sign right here, and it says, "Curse anyone that throws anything into my circle of stones." So it's actually referring to this circle here. So we're gonna pick up this rock and throw it in. And a giant catfish comes out and gives us the Quake medallion. So there we go. It's that easy to get. Alright, so now we're gonna head towards the next dungeon. And we're not actually gonna do much of the dungeon today, but we will be at least getting a start on it. Okay, so now I'm in the middle of the Lake of Darkness, I think it's called. Basically, Lake Hylia in the Dark World. And that is where the 5th dungeon is marked on the map, as you can see. But we're not actually going to be going into the dungeon yet. We've actually first got to go to the Light World and climb up this little area here. And up here is a cave. Now, we've been able to access this cave for a while, but this is actually key to upgrading your bomb and arrow counts. So if you walk up to the pond and throw some rupees in, always choose the highest amount, because you have to throw quite a bit in before it actually triggers. I think it's 100 rupees triggers the fairy. So I'll go ahead and do this until I trigger the fairy, and then I'll show you kind of what it does, and then I'm just going to repeat it until I get the max number of bombs and arrows. I don't know if there's a trick to getting the pond to register that you're standing next to it again. All I usually do is just walk back and forth until it pops back up. So that's kind of annoying, but now that when I throw these, it should trigger. Yeah, there it goes. So now the fairy will come up and ask us if we want to carry more bombs or arrows. I'm just going to max out my bombs first. And there you can see it increased to 15. So basically we've got to repeat this for both the bombs and the arrows until we get the maximum number. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So at this point, being the absolute genius that I am, I forgot to turn my mic back on, so there is no commentary for the rest of the video. Hence why I'm doing a voiceover. So ignore me up in the upper corner talking to myself for the rest of the video, and I'll just try to do the best I can to commentate in post. I'm not very good at this, but at this point I was going to get the 2 chests that were in the in Outcast Village that I had left behind. Just 2 chests that contained 300 rupees. I'd run out of rupees, and I needed more before I could finally get all of the bomb and arrow capacity upgrades. So yeah, that's what you're doing. Or that's what I'm doing here. This is the first chest here in that little hut. There it is, and the next one is in this house right here, sort of towards the right, kind of near the entrance to the smith house. There's
Oh my god. The guy said, temper your sword. I cannot think right now. Anyway, it's kind of distracting trying to watch the video and commentate at the same time. But yeah, anyway. So here I am fast forwarding again through the process of getting the rest of the upgrades. So what you end up with is 50 bombs and 70 arrows. And that's pretty much all there is. So over here to the right, there's actually a secret area, and it just contains fairies. But I thought I'd show it off in case you need to quickly get some fairies if you're in the dungeon. Because the dungeon entrance is actually very closely related to this island, as you'll see here in a minute. So that's really handy to know that it's there, so you don't have to go very far to get fairies if you need them. So to get to the dungeon, you actually just lift this block here and step on this warp tile, and it puts you inside the little walls of the dungeon. You can't actually get into the dungeon from the Dark World, so you have to go through the Black World, which, like I said, is pretty convenient considering if you need fairies, they're right there on that island. So this is the beginning of the dungeon. You're absolutely going to need magic, because you can't even get through the first room without magic, and I think that little telepathic tile right there actually says something to that effect. But you'll need magic to get through the first room. I think there may be a couple more rooms that you need magic for, but it's just a good thing to have anyway, because there are these penguin enemies in this dungeon which are super annoying, and the only real good weapon to use against them is the Bombos medallion, and you'll see me make heavy use of that. So here are some gels, and I'm pretty sure in the commentary I'm very excited about the gels. I really do like gels. They're awesome enemies, and I love fighting them. They just make me so happy when they pop up. But at this point, there's this little block puzzle, and you don't actually have to go into this room like I'm doing here. But I figured since I was already in the room, I might as well. And as you can see, I'm showing off using bombos to kill all the stupid little penguin enemies, and it makes a pretty short load of them. And usually what happens is one of them will at least drop a magic decanter, which will fill your magic back up for you. See, I didn't get a whole lot there, but usually you'll get an actual big decanter, which always fills your magic all the way up. Like I was saying, you don't actually have to come into this room and fight the enemies. You can come in and then go right back out, because all you really need to do is reset that block in the middle so you can push it the other way. And it's pretty much the same for this room as well. And I use bombos again to take care of the penguins, but in this room the only difference is you actually have to go into the room, because in order to open the door back up you have to hit a switch that's under that lower skull there. And here I am wasting time trying to get the anti-fairy. I don't think I actually get it. It's pretty terrible with the ice physics and all that. Yeah, I gave up on it. So what you actually want to do is end up going up, and you actually have to go through those two rooms just to get the block in the right position to be able to go up. And now in this room we have to take care of these little floaty bastards. Still don't know their names. I'm sure they have a proper name, and I probably read it at some point, but floaty bastards good enough for me. But what you need to do is set a bomb there next to that switch so you can get behind it before it switches over to the blue blocks being up and the orange blocks being down, so that you can bomb that little hole and drop down to continue onward. Down here we'll actually see proper Stalfos for the first time, and just like in later Zelda games, they are weak to bombs, so what you have to do is knock them down with like a pot or a skull or anything. I think a single sword slash knocks them down too, but then you just put a bomb next to them and it instantly kills them, so they're pretty easy. And I think that telepathic tile there talks about how to defeat them, because you can't do anything unless you put the bomb next to them, just like later Zelda games. Okay, so this room here actually whooped my ass pretty bad, and the reason is I was trying to get through it without using the cape. I have no idea why, but if you use the cape in this room, it actually makes things a whole lot easier. Also, one of these enemies drops a key that you need to continue onward, so it can be pretty annoying. Pressing that switch was a mistake, and I have to come back and swap that in a second because I'm an idiot. I don't know why I decided to flip it, I just did. There you can see I'm trying to defeat all enemies. I don't think I can remember which enemy had the key. It's actually that guy there. Get it. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So there's where the key is, and I should have hit the switch again right there, but I didn't. But if I come through here, you'll see why I had to hit the switch again. So go back out and get the switch. Lovely. Oh yeah, I wasted a bunch of time trying to shoot it with the arrows. Why did I even try that? There we go. Okay. So in this room, I actually tried to use the cape to show an example of how it would be useful, but I ended up making a complete fool of myself by falling off the level like 4 times in one spot, and wasting all of my magic in the process instead of just using it when the flame bar came around like I should have. So yeah, don't do what I do and waste your magic. Just use it when the bar actually gets to you briefly, just while it passes, and then you'll be fine. You don't even really have to use the cape in that room to get through it. It's actually fairly easy to dodge it without using the cape. You can get down the bottom left corner and the bar will miss you completely. Yeah. More of these stupid penguins, and as always, just straight to bombos, because they're really annoying to fight, and they're usually on ice, which is just bad. So whenever you have the chance, and if you have the magic, it's best to just get rid of them that way. And there you go, you can see it dropped a large decanter that time, which fills my magic all the way up. That's what normally happens. So here we're actually going to go straight up. We got to fake out the little spike guy there so we can get up. And then in this room, we're actually going to drop straight down. Before it falls away. And this room will actually end up coming back to a little later in the dungeon, but for the moment we just go straight right, and to get across this gap you actually just use the hook shot. It's fairly simple. And I don't know why I decided to attack those guys. I just hook shot it across the gap, but whatever. Man, I really wasted a lot of time fighting enemies too. But yeah, I'm gonna waste my time killing these guys. At least one of them. So this room here, you can actually just dash and hit the wall and you won't get hurt at all. Even though you do end up kind of up under that second to last guy there. I don't know how that works, but it always does, and it never fails. So here I actually make a mistake. Instead of going up, which is where I should have gone to get the big key, I actually skipped that and went back left as if I was going to do the next section of the dungeon, which is acquiring the dungeon item. Things like that happen, especially because I haven't played this game in quite a few years at this point. In some dungeons, even though I've played them, hundreds of times, you forget details, especially if you take a long break from playing the game, and that's exactly what happened here. As you can see, oh, by the way, these steps, they can be really hard to get into when you're on ice, but if you dash into them, it makes it a lot easier. But right here, we're going to bomb the floor, and you'll see my nice and brilliant mistake, and me realizing it. We'll bomb the floor. You don't want to drop down the hole to the right, because that'll put you in the improper position. You won't be able to actually get to the chest, even though you'll be in the same room, as you can see here. But here I noticed, oh great, I don't have the, yeah, you can see me shaking my head. I don't have the big key. And here is me actually coming back after wandering around the dungeon for like 10 minutes, not knowing exactly what the heck I was doing. Again, no clue. I know this is where the key is. I've done it 100 times. It slipped my mind. But anyway, now that I'm in this room, I've got to actually get, I think you get the map here, as well as a key. And then the actual big key is in not the next room, but the room after. And here I am, I'm talking about something, who freaking knows. Yes, I needed that one bomb so badly. So there's the key and that little thing that turns you into a bunny if it touches you. Yeah. Now it might look like there's really nothing else in this room, but the secret is you actually have to pull the tongue of the little statue right there. We'll press on the switch then it gives you the map. I forgot about that. Okay, so now I'll pull the tongue. I think at this point I'm mentioning that it looks like there's nothing else you can do in this room. But if you pull the tongue, it will open the door for you. And then you will go upstairs and get the big key. There it is, finally. So I wasted a lot of time getting to that point. But you don't actually want to go left there, even though you can push those blocks. That'll put you in a spot you don't really want to be. You want to actually backtrack and go back down. And to get back through this door, again, you just pull the tongue. And then head back downstairs. Quick shot back across the gap using the chest again. And through here, we're actually going to go left again, just like we did earlier. This time, though, we actually have the big key, so we can get the chest. And again, getting into these stairs on the ice can be really annoying, so just dash into it. You see how I'm having trouble there, but as soon as I dash, he goes right in. That really makes that a lot easier. And again, make sure you bomb on the left and don't drop down on the right, because if you drop down on the right, you have to walk all the way around to get back to the right spot. It's kind of annoying. You'll see in the next part that walking around in a circle is kind of a theme in this dungeon. If you mess up, you have to do it, and then you actually have to do it for a specific trick in the dungeon later on. So there's the blue mill. That's the dungeon item. It just decreases the damage you take from enemies, which is good, I guess. But as you can see here, we actually almost have all the items in the game anyway, so there's not much left to go. But yeah, I hope my voiceover commentary wasn't that terrible and you were able to stick through it with me. And yeah, just take it easy. Until next time, guys. I'll see you.